You might have never wondered how ice cream was packaged, but did you ever think it was this way? Whoever it is must really love their job anyway. It's so satisfying to watch them. Who needs therapy when you can just watch this? These workers are making Murano glass. Sure, it looks like a giant glowing lollipop at first, but you can see where it's headed. The coordination of the workers and the skill with which they're carrying out their tasks makes you wish that the art never dies out. Wouldn't you like to learn something so unbelievably cool? I would. It looks like this woman is only just cutting out the pieces of brown paper. But how's she doing it in such perfect squares and having them flying out like they have wings? Not only does this method of removing snow look like something Albert Einstein came up with, but it's also clean and satisfying to watch. You should try it sometime. Is Anakin Skywalker somewhere in this room with us? Because those look like laser sticks instead of hot iron. How does it come out so smoothly? This is how you recognize skilled workers. They are exceptional. Ever wondered why it's called fast food? Don't quote us, but it's because of this guy. They look like French fries, but they're actually bamboo sticks. Pandas would have a field day in this factory with their work cut out. Have you ever tried Thailand's salted egg yolk mooncake? Buttery and crumbly on the outside, molten lava of yolk on the inside. If you haven't, this is your sign to go check it out. Your taste buds will thank you. The process is likely as mouthwatering as the dish itself, even though the end product looks vastly different from the beginning. Here's someone you don't need to wish Godspeed on because he already has it. This worker is so fast, you can barely point out the moment between when the nail is out and when it's in. That's not even the best part. Look how precisely he's nailing them in the perfect pattern. You just know he's a guru. Is that snow? How did so much of it pile up in that one place? Anyway, this worker has figured out a smart way to get rid of most of it without working too hard. But sometimes, the smart way isn't always the best, so don't try this at home. Do you want to know how to coat a metal piece in 5 seconds? Just watch this genius do it. We hope his neck doesn't fall off at the end of the day, otherwise he's hacked the act of carrying heavy bags. How can anyone be so fast and precise at the same time? If it beats you, it beats me too. But we commend this worker because, with this, she's winning at life for sure. Some people's best fruit is watermelon. If you're one of those people, pay special attention to this. Imagine being able to slice it so quickly and cleanly. Is there anything more you could ask for? Kudos to this guy for showing us the way. Here's a printing and packaging workshop, and this is how satisfying some of their processes are to watch. Hot iron just keeps looking more and more magnificent. Anyway, here's how chains are made. Who would have thought that the process of cutting out fur would be so satisfying to watch? Well, with this worker, it is. We could stare at this all day. At first glance, you may think this man is confused, but he's only extremely good at what he's doing. We'd like to know for how long he's been in this line of work, because the skill level is alarming, in a good way. He's almost like a machine at this point with his smooth and precise movements. Whatever law of physics or magic is at play here is something we'd like to figure out. However, the way the chain is laid may be a factor. It's impossible to not know when it's an artist at work. Just look at that beautiful bowl they just made. Whoever came up with the saying "teamwork makes the dream work" must have seen these guys at work sometime. You can tell that they're good at this. We'd like to understand how this guy is making perfect patterns in one swoop using just his hand and cement. It's clear that not only is this a skill that he's put energy into, but he's also dedicated to the craft. The pandas must be having a rough day with this flash-like man. This worker has figured out the fastest way to do his job. Kudos! The precision with which this worker's cutting the wood is something to be commended. Let's all guess if this man's been doing this for years, or if he's just so talented that he's become automatic. Not only is this worker doing his job perfectly, but he's also having so much fun with it. Wow, have you ever seen anything as smooth as this? It's doubtful, but if you have, let us know. Don't we all need a machine like this one to help us hold our lives together? You can barely see the binder until it's on the keg. That's very impressive. Making and assembling car parts can be a complicated process, but here are some of the simpler and more satisfying ones. Without looking too hard at it, you would have never guessed that it was a car they were manufacturing. This is a corn shelling machine, and you can tell that it's good at what it does. Could you guess what they were making before they showed the final product? We still can't believe that's how water bottles are made. It may look like a pie at first, but don't get it twisted. This is just one of the many processes that goes on at a pottery barn, and many of them are just as satisfying to watch as this one. It's so cool. This worker could probably carry a building if the situation called for it, and he'd do it with speed. Look at how quickly and precisely this man is diving a solid block of concrete into smaller pieces. His speed and remarkable precision are pegging him as a skilled and talented worker. We could learn a thing or two from him. Now, even if it was a machine that did this task, could it be any smoother or faster? I highly doubt it. This man has done a perfect job. It looked almost automatic. Only if you look harder at this clip will you be able to discern that this worker is exerting a lot of strength to do this task. He's definitely a diligent and dedicated worker. Kudos to him. Could you believe where he was going with that? A new method of washing cars until they're at their neatest state has just been unlocked. We couldn't have guessed what he was going to do. All we could do was watch, and he surprised us. This is the most satisfying and quickest way of packing cables that we've ever seen. Have you seen a better one? Those look like roofing tiles. Who would have thought that the process of making them was so satisfying? Not us. It's safe to say that if the Flash was the one laying down this roof, he couldn't have done it faster. Let's not even talk about the accuracy with which he's nailing it in. He's nailing it. If it wasn't for the hand showing out the sleeve, we could have safely assumed that this was a robot. This duo is winning at life. They figured out how to smoothen a cement floor without anyone stepping on it. And not only are they good at what they do, but they've also figured out how to have fun while at it. Just imagine if you had someone to clean your windows beautifully every morning. Not only will you have the cleanest windows, but you'll get free therapy from watching them work in this soothing way. Turning a bag the right side out has never looked more fascinating, right? We might have mistaken those for sausages if the material didn't look like leather or some other clothing material. That worker must have done this 100 times before, considering how efficient she is. Don't you agree? No, that's not cheese, even though it looks like it. This woman works with remarkable speed and precision. This is a process of assembling anchor bolts, and it's being done by an efficient team. The greatest determination of successful teamwork has to be timing and precision, and this duo has both in bucketfuls. Eating cake has got to be one of the greatest delights of living. But have you ever thought that watching the preparation of a piece of cake could be just as fulfilling? We guessed not, but here you go. The slathering of cream and chocolate alone is mouthwatering. One of the best ways to gauge how skilled one is at a task is by how effortless they make it look. It's hard to pinpoint what this guy has made, but the ease with which he made the template and cast the object is impressive. This man is stripping the green off the culms of a bamboo stick with the speed and precision of a machine. To take things a step further, the strips somehow are arranged in an orderly manner on the ground. When you note how patient she was for the previous worker to fill her container, you'll realize that she's confident in her skills. The speed with which she packs the items in multiples is impressive. How can you tell that someone's a professional? Just watch this guy. He's tinting a Ford Mustang with frameless windows. So first, he washes the window in the most satisfying sweep you've ever seen, and then tints it smoothly. It's clean, satisfying, and perfect. That worker must be having awesome flashbacks from his childhood, because even though they're working, the only thing this looks like is fun. This is a wood-cutting sawmill machine. It's being operated efficiently, and just watching the log get cut up until the last board is ultimately satisfying. We don't think it could have been done any better. What do you think? Who knew this was what cutting tires looked like? After placing the tire in the right position, all he has to do is keep his leg in place and the rest of the work is done. These are the true superheroes in our society. Look at how he stands so many feet above the ground and calmly does his job. It must take lots of courage. This woodworker has hacked the method of making irregular patterns on boards to fit them into the smallest crevices. Watching him do it is so soothing and inspiring, to say the least. The demand for this candy must be really high if they're working this fast. Would you consider having glass walls in your house? Even if you wouldn't, you might enjoy this process. This is a meat grinder that works quickly. However, this man is the one ensuring that the meat comes out in perfectly minced rolls. We found the master of ASMR when it comes to car washing. He turns the windows and headlights into the cleanest bits of glass you've ever seen in such a short time. He's very good at what he does. From the sound the metals are making, you can tell that the job is not for a lightweight. Yet these men are cutting them in just one hit. What level of skill is this? Superhuman level, you might say. Did they just flip a tablecloth with a glass tray on it and use the glass tray to arrange the plates at equal distances? That's amazing! This snow removal machine is very high-powered and shoots the snow you packed a short distance away to keep things clear. With the way these two men are so clearly happy making the noodles, one can just tell that the end product will not only be skillfully made, but also filled with love. Whatever cleaner is being used must be a very strong one. It's the only explanation for how the interior of the car went from super dirty to super clean. Could you have guessed what they were making at first glance? It could be anything from food to a building material, but they're doing it well. This candy looks strangely like onions, but focus on that worker cutting them with supernatural speed.